I just want to talk about who's some of the brands that are out here, the retailers and the buyers. I want to shout you guys out real quick. What's your guys' brand, or what's your business? Shout out to the speech therapists, they do cosmetics. Over here in the back, what do you guys do? What's the name of it?
Simply Gideon.
Simply Gideon. Everybody give it up for Simply Gideon. All right, over here on this side, what do you guys do? Shout out to MD Board and Games down here.
Got somebody in the back over there. You're gonna have to yell. We got Online Fashion Boutique. All right.
Well, what we're trying to do here, guys, is network. That's what we showed up here for, right? I mean, you guys got your badges, you showed up. We all want to shake hands, meet each other. Let's have some fun with this. Let's make sure we get out there, make some good connections, do some good business, because at the end of the day, we're all here to make some money. So let's go ahead and make sure we do that.
If you guys are standing around in the back, there's a good amount of seats right up in front. Come start filling them in. I see you guys are kind of browsing over here, fill in the front row. I promise this isn't an OnlyFans presentation. Except for Badger to Ballroom, but we're not going down like that.
We can't make any guarantees.
All right, cool. So I think obviously ASD has been an incredible show. So shout out to the creative team, the marketing team, the staff, and everybody else for putting this on. I wanted to start, obviously the promise and the premise of this is, you know, getting your business booming through the power of social media. And I think it's important for us to just start with a simple story. I wanted to kind of share my story for you guys to know, okay, who's this guy up here? What are they wearing? What is this all about? That way we can bring value to you through storytelling and then some tips throughout the way. So let me grab a little clicker here. Okay, so my YouTube channel was, right now we're at about almost 500,000 subscribers. Thank you. We get a couple million views a month. We're really educating in the apparel space, so the making of brands, manufacturing, design, all of that. But before YouTube started, because sometimes I think it's, you know, today everybody wants to start a business and start a YouTube channel, right? How many of you guys have kids, and how many of those, okay? Is that a pretty big amount that they want to do, YouTube channel? Yeah. So everybody that comes to me is like, how do I start my YouTube channel? Like, just put on a camera and start. But for me, it didn't start that way. It's not like I wanted to be a YouTuber. For me, it actually started in a college. So that's where I met my partner, Medine. He's the co-founder of every business that we've had. He's the guy that's been he's always bringing the creative side, the storytelling, and the marketing messaging to everything that we do. So he's incredible. And we actually met at the community college. We grew up here in Vegas. I grew up on the east side. He grew up on the historic west side. And we met at a North Las Vegas Community College campus for a Business 101 course, which funny enough, our professor is here from the very first class, right there, Kevin Rayford.
You can take his business class right now, CSN, business. Kevin Rayford right there.
So Kevin Rayford at the time was teaching in the back, you know, little dingy office night classes, right? So I went to night school, and that's where he was. And I wanted to take a Business 101 class to launch my first brand. Had no idea how to do it. Luckily enough, I met an incredible professor who had a big business background, and he really encouraged us to get started, right? So he said, hey, it doesn't matter if you don't have any money, it doesn't matter if you don't have any connections, start building a business plan and start taking action on it. And that was essentially our first few years. So that photo right there was us at like 19, 20 years old. We launched our very first backpack brand. And originally that idea was supposed to be customizable. So imagine you being able to replace pockets, prints, kind of change it up. If anybody comes up with that idea and makes it a reality, please let me know, because we spent a lot of money trying to make it happen. The technology wasn't there at the time. But we learned a lot. And through that process, we essentially started to perfect our pitch and perfect the product. And I think that's one thing that we really learned in those early years of business, and it's something that every business needs to continue to refine, is perfecting your pitch. What is it that you're selling? Who are you selling it to? And what product are you making that they want to buy? Because sometimes we get into, in our early years, we got into like, hey, we made this product, we think this is who it's for, and then nobody wanted to buy it, but we kept trying to push it to them, right? So that meant we were showing up at events in the street, selling out of the trunk of our car. We would bug Professor Kevin Rayford, to go and present in his classes so we could sell backpacks to the students. Right? We were literally pitching and selling it every single day. It seemed like every day at that time. And through that process, we got really good at pitching. And I think the pitch process is one of the things that, as you start to build and develop a brand, you as a business owner needs to be pretty good at doing. And obviously when you first launch a product, your pitch is going to start with one direction and it's going to evolve. So for us, it was a continual evolution of that. But that's one thing that you constantly got to have if you're going to be building a brand on social media, if you're going to be selling a product on e-commerce. You got to pitch what you're about and what you're doing to your audience. You got to pitch that to your customers. You got to pitch it to your vendors, because they want to buy into your story. And that's really where I think, before we even started YouTube, we were really being able to share that story was the key thing that separated us from the rest. Obviously in business, you're going to have your ups and downs, right? So for us, interestingly enough, this is our 10-year anniversary of coming to a trade show. So 10 years ago, we actually attended Magic, and it was during the times that we had this backpack company. And we were selling it, but we were selling it through a distributor. And that distributor essentially was the one that had the direct relationships with that customer, with that client. So we were just a vendor within their system that was fulfilling orders for that distribution company. But we poured our hearts and soul into that in order to attend that show and show up with 15 different SKUs, leather products. We did some really cool collaborations with, who was it at the time? Wiz Khalifa, Monster Headphones. We're huge companies, and we were like, yo, this is our opportunity to finally go from a startup to like a brand that's sold in every retail store, right? So we literally poured everything into that. I quit my full-time job that year. That was 2014, back when I was 24 years old. So I was unemployed at a startup business and a lot of promising opportunity, right? And here we were at Magic, attending this trade show, and we're sitting there. We did such an amazing job with our products. As soon as it closes, we're like, hey, what's going on? Where are the sales? And they said, hey, we lost the business. The company has to fold. Our investors pulled out of the agreement, so we don't have a distribution company anymore, and you're essentially left to figure it out on your own. And that was me at 24 years old, unemployed now because I quit my job and didn't have a business, and I poured everything else that we had into it at that point. So at that moment, there's that defeat, that moment of defeat of you thinking, hey, is this something that you should even pursue? Maybe I should go get another job because I think I can get one because I haven't been unemployed that long. And then at that moment, my wife, huge shout outs to my wife, she's somewhere back there taking photos. She actually told me, she said, hey, I want you to make a YouTube video. And this is 2014, guys, so just imagine back then YouTube was kind of different, right? But she said, hey, just make a YouTube video, and I want you to share everything that you wish you knew before you launched the business. So like, think of you back when you were 19, now you're 24 and unemployed. Think of that 19-year-old that had a lot of promise and ideas, and you needed a kind of a path that you wish you had. So I said, okay, so she locked me in a room, and for about 7 hours, I filmed in front of a camera, and it was a horrible video. It was about 30 hours of filming, I kid you not, like 2 days of filming. And then I had to edit that for a whole month. And then I got it down to about 10 to 11 minutes. And it was a horrible video, and I was like, man, people are really gonna slam me on this. And she said, no, just publish it. So I threw it up, didn't even have a thumbnail, I just posted it. And then about 3 to 4 months later, I had like 400,000 views. And it had like thousands of comments. And I was like, whoa, what are these people saying? Like, I think they're gonna really hate. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be mostly haters. I open up the comments, and then it's like, oh my God, these tips worked in my state, it worked in my city, because the original video was how to start a clothing brand with $50. And the promise of it was in 10 steps. You don't necessarily need to put thousands of dollars into manufacturing. You don't need a business license in most states. This is how you can actually get your business operating. This is where you can open up bank accounts. And we were just giving this plug of things that I've learned over the years and things that we tried and tested over the years that were meant to work in Vegas and most states. I didn't know about all of 51 states, but I knew that for sure it would work in most states, and everybody was very positive towards it. So that's what launched the YouTube channel, and our YouTube channel is just my name, John Santos, and to this day we continue to share the information and the plugs and the contacts that we've gotten over the years, and we just put them out for people to know about because it's something that was always guarded at that time. Through that though, we inadvertently built a community. And this is one of those lessons as you're starting to build your brand and you're building your business, is authentically sharing who you are to your audience and being able to kind of story tell that through your content will organically build a community for you guys of people that are relating to your story. And I think oftentimes businesses that want to launch on social media usually start off with like, hey, what should I do? How should I start paying for this? Or where should I spend my money? And I say, hey, just start with a community. Who are the people that are gonna buy your products? Think about that person. What type of content does that person want to watch? What type of content do they want to interact with? And then how can you make that content, or how can you reshare that content from other people and start building a community around your topic, right? So for us, it just happened on the back end organically, right? So I was talking about things I was passionate about, whether it was manufacturing, whether it was marketing, design, branding, and we started to build a community and a tribe around people that were entrepreneurs in the apparel space. And it started to really quickly build steam. And I think that's where it's important too, is to like stay focused, because during that time there's a lot of other YouTubers and social media influencers that were also speaking on that, and then they started speaking about everything else too, and everybody was telling me, hey, if you want to grow, you should follow these people's and like what they're doing. And I said, no, I got to stay true to who I am. I'm not building a different business. I'm building an apparel company, and I'm building an apparel business, right? So I continue to talk through it. We just got innovative in it. And that's where I think once you start building a community, you're gonna have to start innovating that community. How can you bring something original to the market that may be trending or happening in a different market? So really diving into whatever platform you're growing. Every platform has its trends and its ability for you to jump on those trends if you're active in it. So with that, as you start to have some success with YouTube and or social media, and as you start to build this community, this is what we usually always preach, is like, test out your concepts to them, right? And then you're gonna have to also test out your offering, because sometimes your offering may not be what they want. So you gotta continue to reinvent your offering. And this is a story I think you should take on. So we have Steve Harvey on there. I don't know if you guys can see it in the back or not, but I think Medina can tell this one pretty nicely.
Yeah, so this happened in 2017. So we had our face all over TV for the NBA Finals and the commercials. We were about to be on ABC for the Thunderdome. It was this test show that they were trying out. We didn't know how successful it would be, but it ended up airing. 5 million people watched it. We won, took it home, killed it, took first place, won 20 grand, and then had tons of traffic to our website. So it was fantastic, but meeting Steve Harvey was fun. He likes to rib people. Exactly what you see on TV, by the way, that is exactly who the guy is in real life. So it's really fun, it's cool. So the time that we spent there, at the event, there was a bunch of people before us. This is an interesting thing, they actually have a therapist on site for these game shows. Did you guys know that? They have a therapist ready to go for you in case there's a traumatic event that happens to you on live TV or national TV. So we ended up seeing that therapist. And the therapist, the person before us, I thought that was weird at first, but then I looked at the person that was before us, and they almost threw up on stage because they were so nervous. And I understood how much this can impact people. So it was a big moment for us. And then as that happened, there was a huge backstory as well. I basically, just a few months before, is in this random Starbucks, and there was a shooting that happened. A guy died in the Starbucks. And I was caught up in this huge, problem with now the DA's calling my phone to investigate what's going on. I didn't do any shooting. I should clarify. Just for people in the back. No, but what happened was I just had to be caught up in this moment, and now they're calling us while the director of the program is trying to deal with us. It was just an insane time. And so as we were shooting that show, we were dealing with so much personally that we just poured it out on the stage, and we actually won. And we just took all these troubles that we were going through personally and turned it into a success. You know, and so everybody showing up here today, I know that everyone's carrying something as they show up to an event like this or a show like this, but the goal is to try to take that energy and transform it into something positive. You know, as you're going through and meeting people and starting your own brands, working on your business, or even if you have a retail chain and you want to start to expand and grow, there's ways for you to get inspired to bring in products that people have never seen before. So reinventing yourself is absolutely crucial in terms of getting to the next level and then breaking through, even when a lot of stuff is happening behind the scenes.
Definitely, and I think this is also another one of those lessons is the more you perfect your pitch, the more you kind of do on autopilot, right? So oftentimes we're put on the spot, right? And you're given an opportunity, and then if you haven't perfected something behind the scenes because you've done it repetitively, you're going to be the person thrown up on stage, right? And I remember the producer came, he was like, hey man, he was trying to tell Medine, like, are you good? Are you good? I'm like, hey bro, get the out of this room. I don't need your energy around him. He's focused. He's about to go in there and kill this thing. And we did. We absolutely did incredible at that show because we had just practiced it so much that it came naturally. It didn't matter about the pressure or the stress. It's something that you start doing naturally. So as you start to build your brand, as you start to build your audience, you're going to be reinventing yourself again and again, right? So the original idea you came up with, the original products that you may be sourcing for today will get your foot in the door. It'll get you starting to sell and starting to monetize yourself, but you're going to need to reinvent yourself time and time again. And for us, it meant reinventing ourselves from a brand that was selling to a certain audience that we thought was our target market, to then selling basketball bags and being on Steve Harvey's Thunderdome, to then reinventing ourselves to something that was more in line with the audience and community that I had built over the years. So knowing who our audience was and knowing what they wanted and at the prices that they wanted, at the certain quality that they wanted, we reinvented ourselves into becoming a supply business. And that's what Streetcrafter is. We're a supply company that essentially provides the person making brands from home the ability to make products on par with print shops at no minimums, right? So totally flipping the dynamics of how can you start a brand. You don't need thousands of dollars. You can literally get started with just $50, right? So it came back to my original video and the concept of like, how do we help millions of people do this from home? And through that journey, what we found was that we found a lot of stories, and we got to meet with people that were already following our channel, that were already part of this journey over the last 10 years. And what was really cool is that I met a couple people here at ASD that were like, hey, I came out here for you, been following you since 10 years ago. I remember the Thunderdome, and we really reconnected on that. And I think that's such an incredible thing. Like, as you guys start to build your audience, don't think of that 100 followers or that 50 followers as just like a low number. Think about it as real people that are actively engaging and viewing what you're watching. It doesn't matter if it's thousands or ones or tens or millions, right? It's real people behind those numbers, and I think that's the power of social media, and that's really what social media can do for your business. So today we have a chance to connect to just numerous people within the industry, right? And we started to put together a program that's actually in colleges now. It's in colleges and high schools where we're teaching the youth, this is how you can actually not just conceptualize a business, but get hands-on with it. And that's really something that we've been working on for years, and it's finally come to light.
And what's interesting is that now we took all of our pain, all the problems that we went through in our experiences, and we turned it into a product that we can offer the world. So just to kind of take a quick step back and make sure that you guys know, you're kind of like, who are these people that we're talking to? So John explained who he is and kind of gave me a little bit of background about me. But one thing you should know is that we both worked for the SBA for about 5 years as a small business development center, helping businesses out, people who come to us, who say, hey, I have my own little brand, I have a boutique shop, I have a flooring business, whatever, and we gave business advice in real time on behalf of the government. So by doing that, we learned a lot. And generally speaking, I could say one thing: everybody needs the same thing. They need a little bit of encouragement to get things going, you know. And sometimes the problems that they have aren't real problems, or they create problems that weren't there in the first place when you're trying to start a business that you could just burrow through and start actually getting to the money. So our product that we're offering to you today is in the lines of that. So the product that we were talking about is this here. So this is a 5-foot sheet by 2 foot of press art. A product that we offer on our website is called Press Art. You may know it as direct to film, you've seen it in the industry, but you upload your designs to our website, then we go ahead and print these sheets out. Thank you, Jack. We go ahead and print these sheets out, and then you put your logos, your designs, your names, whatever, and then it goes through a very simple process where it gets printed out on the sheet, and there's glue that goes on the back that gets cured on. We send it to you, roll it up, ship it out to you. You cut them out, and heat press it onto anything: denim, t-shirts, backpacks, hoodies, whatever you like, joggers. And so for us starting out, if we would have had a product like this, it would have changed our lives. Because for us, we were going to print shops and spending exorbitant amounts of money. We were trying to figure out how to manufacture things on our own. Every trade show we went to, they wouldn't even look at you if you weren't doing below 300 minimum order quantities, right? And that's okay too. That's a good business model if it works for you. But for us, we're starting out of our home. And for us, we were starting out with no money. So we needed to find a way to actually get the business going. So this product has been available now on our website for the last couple of years, and it's had a resounding effect. The people who go to our website and they actually buy our products at first are very leery. They're very non-trusting of us, and they ask a lot of questions, and they think we're full of crap until they actually get the sheet sent to their house. And then they actually use it. Then they transfer it onto their shirt, and they're like, whoa, this thing actually works. I actually made a t-shirt, I made a hoodie, and now I flipped it and sold that hoodie I sold for 60 bucks, 65 bucks, 100 bucks. And I did it again, then again, then again. Then I started a brand, or I did it for the local 7-Eleven or the local laundromat. And now I have a printing business that I started right out of my bedroom. So that's kind of what we were talking about in the promise of this presentation, from the bedroom to the boardroom.
So it had a purpose, it had a reasoning for that. But no, so I think that really brings us back around to the beginning, is being able to fine-tune what your pitch and product is, really making sure that you're able to tell that time and time again to different customers. So we've been at the booth the last 3 days or so, and I think oftentimes we forget that we should always be speaking about what it is that we're doing to everybody that we meet. And you, as a business owner, as somebody that's here shopping, should also be telling everybody what you do, because you never know which connection you're going to make. And for us, trade shows were some of the best connections I made when I just walked the floor. Right? We were able to connect to some incredible suppliers, people that were working with us on either on the YouTube side or on the supply chain side. We got to meet some incredible influencers and people that create really cool stuff. So for us, it really has been a game changer when it comes to, pitching your product, putting yourself in front of your audience, building a community of content of people that are gonna, so once you start building that content, people that like that content are gonna follow you, then you pitch, product, repeat, right? So you just continue to pitch, continue to refine the product, continue to build a community, and it works hand on hand. And a lot of times people will come up and say, you gotta spend X thousands to get started, but you can literally do it organically. You don't even have to make your own content. You can build a community around an interest or a group, and people will start following you because of that, and then you can start injecting those products into that community. And that's how you can essentially create a business with $0, or very close to it, maybe 50 bucks. You need some money. Right?
Very, very low amount. So another thing that we should probably help get you to understand is that this is one of our customers. His name's Trent, and he has a brand called Goodlum. And so with this jacket here, he spent about 40 bucks about that, and he's able to flip this, and they did an actual YouTube video on it, and they got prices telling them how much that people would buy this jacket for. So on this jacket, if I could get some hands raised, how much do you think people would pay for a jacket like this? If I could get anyone to give me some guesses. Anyone up here? 300. 60. Okay.
150.
150. Okay, so on the video, people in the in the Wynn Casino were saying that they would pay upwards of how much was it?
350 to like 900.
So, and he spent 40 bucks on it. So the point I'm making is that you guys have the ability now to do that at home. And this is where we want to be a resource to you, to where you can get inspired to do ideas, whether it's starting your own brand, or whether you have a birthday party coming up, or you want to make some shirts for your friend who's having her bachelorette party. It doesn't matter. You just get inspired and you start creating things, and then you become very valuable to the people around you, and now you can actually start a business. No, so essentially what we're trying to get across is another thing that I just wanted to say is that this show has been amazing, and there's a lot happening, a lot moving around, and you know, sometimes it gets rough because the traffic may be low. We're booth exhibitors, by the way. Go see us at our booth, C35120. We'd love to have you. We can talk about press art, get you some orders, and start selling you some products. But one thing I would say is that in our time as counselors for the SBDC, for the Small Business Development Center, a lot of people had the same problem that I mentioned before, which is like encouragement, because they would come up with problems that did not exist, as like I was saying. So for instance, let me give you an example. So we just told you that you sell this shirt for 300, or this hoodie for jacket for 300 to 900 bucks. But a lot of times people would tell me that they would have an idea, but then as soon as they tell me the idea, they say, well, I gotta get my LLC, well, I gotta also do this, and I gotta do X, I gotta put 5,000 bucks up. I'm like, why are you creating all of those barriers to your own success? Why not first start the product that actually people wanna buy? Why not make it, then sell it, and then do it again, and then do it again and again. And now you have a business that's functioning. Take that and then protect it with the LLC. Start getting your information around it. Start, you know, securing yourself, but don't put yourself in the hole up front. I think if there's a core message that I want to get out to everyone here, is like, take the time to realize that the opportunity that's in front of you is really amazing. You know, this place has so many talented, very well connected, and frankly very kind people who you can reach out to, shake their hand while you're at Starbucks, in the bathroom, well, not in the bathroom, but everywhere else. You can go say hello, and then the next thing you know, it could change the course of your entire business. It can make a whole new complexion to your sales. So just take the opportunity seriously, and then all of a sudden, things start to come to light. So I think for me, from the perspective I have, you know, the time that we spent together has been precious. You know, the journey that it has been creating these products and going to shows like this has been amazing. And you guys can start your own journeys, whether you're couples, whether you're family members, whether you're close friends. Start to kind of look at your sixes, as they call it in the military. Look behind you and look what you've done, and sort of be proud of what you're creating, because we're looking up now inside of colleges, we're inside of high schools, we're at trade shows. And not too long ago, at a certain point, we were broke as a joke, and we couldn't pay for a McDonald's cheeseburger, right? So it's kind of like just taking that process in stride, and then understanding, you know, hey, you know what? Where can I fit inside of all of this, and where does my product live? What price point am I at? How much value and demand do I actually have for this product based on the reaction I'm getting to my product? And then how many people do want to buy? And then going out and finding them. So if you keep your process simple, it should change the course of everything. And the one thing that I also wanted to say was, if you find people around you that are very ambitious, ambition is a good thing. And I grew up around that. We all were hustlers coming back up and inside of events and shows and trying to just sell the next product. But we kind of grew out of that now, and now we're in a different place in life where we appreciate people who are passionate about something that they really love. You know, like I've walked around here, I saw some people with some bohemian looking beach bags and some cool looking sandals and flip-flops. I'm like, man, what these people are talking about is so well educated and so excited about their product. I want to work with them, you know. And so when you're here, you got to think about, okay, what is the opportunity Streetcrafter has to offer me? Yes, we want to give you some game on exactly how you can use social media and get your clicks and get your likes and get all that up. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to expand their operation. They want to make more money and increase their footprint and get to the next level. So if you kind of become passionate about something, fall in love with what you're doing, and let other people see that, it's infectious. I'll tell you that from our experience, it's definitely changed the way we see things. So I don't know.
Definitely, guys. And once again, we're I think we got a few minutes, right? We got how much? Like 10 minutes. Okay, so we are open to take some questions. Anybody has any questions about anything? We got somebody out in the back. Turnaround time for what we're doing. Okay, so that's a great question. So when it comes to the press art sheets that we showed here, we print them next day. They ship out. So on average, anywhere between 5 to 7 days, it gets to your door.
And if you're in Vegas, we're here too, and we can just drop it off to you and we can meet up.
Yes, question?
Can you just show the jacket one more time?
Show the jacket one more time.
And And then somebody was talking to me right when you guys actually said the price that it goes for. What would you say the range was?
So
$300 to $900.
That's amazing.
and once you feel it, obviously it's about using the right supplies, right? So this is a blank that we actually bought from somebody at a trade show. So somebody had a blank product. So sometimes when you're sourcing from here, you just got to find the right blanks. If you have the right designs, that's where we come in to help you make it on a low scale. So this was a blank, and it offered that value.
Any material, cotton, nylon, and this material can press onto anything.
Yep. Shoes. Yeah.
As long as it's fabric.
Yep, it's fabric. So the question was, can it print on anything? And the answer was yes, as long as it's a fabric material.
Let's go a long way away to grass-fed beef. We're farmers. Cattle, we know cows are great subjects. We've never really pushed a video through any channel. We've got an active email list of over 5,000. Maybe 50-60% of that group have bought in the last 90 days. So it's current. We just need to grow it. If you were doing one launch, keep it simple, Steve. If you're going to put it on one platform, would you coach us a little on which one you use, how long would you make it, etc. We've got our farm manager would be a great subject to go in. We've got to get started.
Okay, so the question is, you're on social media, or you're thinking about coming on a platform, you sell grass-fed beef,
Yes.
and what platform should you go on and invest your time and resources into? Correct?
Some deduction.
Okay, so when it comes to content like that, I would say, just off the bat, I would say that YouTube might be the platform for that. The reason for it is it does skew a little bit more, it's kind of all ages, but it's definitely a little bit older. So now I think the primary target audience is anywhere between like 25 to 60. Skews a lot older on YouTube. My parents watch YouTube, my uncles, my aunts, my grandma watches YouTube, and they watch farming videos. They're literally watching farming videos, the milking videos. My daughter's learning about the farm through my parents whenever she stays at their house. So YouTube would be a really good platform because you put it on the TV. That's how my parents watch it. They're literally watching it on the TV. I wouldn't even think about the length as much. I would think about just even starting it with some YouTube Shorts. So YouTube Shorts are 60 seconds. And because because it's 60 seconds, you can get creative pretty easily, and you don't have to necessarily put too much thought into it when you're just getting started. Just start posting, and think of the one tip I have with investing into a platform when it comes to building content is you're an expert in your field, and a lot of you guys are an expert with the background that you have. You're an expert in something. You know more than 95% of somebody in a certain subject, right? So sometimes you're so high level that you think about oh, that's too simple, nobody's gonna care about that. Sometimes that's the best content to make because you're so high level and you think it's so simple that everybody else has no idea what it is, what that even means. So a lot of times just think about the most simple subjects, bring it down to the most simple topics and just start writing them on a pen and paper and just okay, here's a topic idea, here's a topic idea. So for grass-fed beef, it might be, you could take it in different angles. You could take it from, how do you grade a steak? What parts of the steak is a New York versus prime, right? And if you're able to articulate that in a very simple way, you're gonna have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people watching it and then following you and being oh, this guy always gives me tips on the best meat. I should probably buy meat from him, right? So now you're starting to build that audience up, but keep it really simple. Write those topics out and then just start shooting. YouTube Shorts works great.
Yeah, I would just jump in and say one of our most successful things at this show that got so much attention was how to fold a t-shirt. How to fold a t-shirt retail style. People, all right, cool, we'll do more of this. So the content can really go based on the reactions you get.
Any other questions out there? Yes. Yes, that's a great question. So she wants to know more about how does the content process make, and me as a creator, how much time does that take? It definitely is a full-time job if you're doing, it's two jobs if you're doing it on your own because you gotta film and you gotta edit. But with what we're doing now is we built up a really good editing team, right? So this is where you don't necessarily have to do the editing, but you definitely have to do the content creation, right? So you have to write it, or at least have some outline of how the content should flow. It doesn't have to be like the exact same things, but in a recent example I did a video where I showed people how to make a $100 Fear of God hoodie from home, right? It was like kind of a clickbaity thing. I wasn't gonna knock off Fear of God, but it's like, hey, clickbait, right? So catchy title. I thought about the opening. Hey, I should pull out from the actual tag to show it's $100. Can I make it for $5? Right? And that was a promise. So the first few seconds you're always thinking about. So you as a creator need to be the one really structuring the video ideas, and that takes time. And then you also should be filming it or having somebody film it with you, and that also takes time or resources. And then the editing is the one thing that can be outsourced. I would say you don't necessarily need to be editing all your content, as long as you start to give the editors an example of what they should be editing to. Any editor that's talented can pick it up. So, what's that? Yep. And so with that being the case, when it comes to making content, you have to make a schedule for it. You got to make time for it. I think a lot of times we think, hey, I'll make that tomorrow once I get this certain thing in, and that thing never comes, and it becomes 3 or 4 weeks before you make a piece of content. Trust me, I've been through it myself, right? So you have to kind of shift the frame of mind and thinking, hey, this has to be perfect, so this is going to be good enough. And it's always a good enough play. It's never going to be a perfect play. Some of the videos that I'm like, okay, you know, this one's going to be the one. It wasn't the one. The ones that I'm like, oh, this one's going to do pretty good. That blew it out the water, right? So like, you never really know with algorithms changing and whatnot. You just need to make more content and do more of what's working. So whatever works for your content wheelhouse, once you start building it, you're like, oh, this one's working. How can I make it better? How do I, you know? Social media gives you all the analytics on the back end, retention time, where people skipped, where they left. Use those graphs to identify why they left. Show it to a friend and say, hey, can you watch this for me? And if they're watching it and then they're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, and then they glance away, mark down where they glanced away. That means that piece of content lost their interest at that exact moment. So you might need to edit it, change it to hold that retention a little bit longer. So as a content creator, it is a full-time job, but your full-time job should be spent in the structure of the content, in the content topics, and in the filming. The editing should definitely be outsourced. You should find a good editor that kind of works with your style. And everybody's style is different. So just because they say they're a professional YouTube editor doesn't mean it could work with you or not. So you always got to look for that certain style.
And also, just real quick, 3 things. Man on the street videos. Videos that are, so man on the street videos, doing reaction videos, and on top of that, what's the other one that was?
So how-tos.
Yeah, how-tos are really incredibly, viral to help you get going on social media or TikTok to help you grow a following and improve your authority.
Any other questions out there, guys? Got a few minutes, maybe? I don't know if we went over or not. Are we good on time?
I'm not sure. I didn't have a clock around me. Well,
okay, cool. Good. Anything else?
Well, I will do one more thing before we go. One more thing. So, guys, I'm all about energy. I like having, a good energy when you're working. That's how you make money. We want to make a lot of money. So, what we do is we have a saying that we say. It's wake up and win. Find your purpose in life, and then live it. So, find out what you want to do it. Find out who you are, and be it. So, what I would like to do, I know it's like we're all tired, it's lunchtime and all that, but I would like everyone, if you could, repeat after me. I say wake up, and you say win, and we do it as loud as we can to kind of shake the convention center.
Let's slow this thing down so they got to reconstruct it.
Yeah. And we'll do it 3 times. Is that okay with you guys? Is that all right? All right, let's do it. All right, cool. Ready? Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.
So So for today, I'd rather not do any like selling out of here because we actually got a lot of sizes reserved that don't communicate. So like sometimes the blue hoodies or something won't communicate.
Right.
So then we don't know if it's in stock or not. And then the products that we shipped, we might not be in stock.
Okay.
So like the greens are fine,
Yeah.
the burgundies are fine,
Right.
some of the blues are okay,
Okay.
but the whites, charcoals,
Okay.
and blacks are kind of like, actually black might be a little bit fine, but
Okay.
definitely not the blues. And
Not the blues.
well, those blues are fine, but not the charcoals, not the
The white.
the charcoals and the forest green
Okay.
are doing pretty well, and the whites are limited too. So
Okay, so probably just the blue
the
and the
blues,
black.
the blue, black, and then the champagne red is fine too.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't been really getting a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
no
those
worries,
because they're
yeah.
mostly just extra large
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
no, it's all
so,
good. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Perfect, thank you.
Perfect. And there is your custom shirt for you, sir. Absolutely.
I guess you guys are here, so I really was impressed with the quality of you guys' sleeves. Looking to kind of start a clothing brand. Know where you guys wholesale prices.
Well, have you talked to me yet already?
No, nice to meet you, brother.
Nice.
John, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
Him on YouTube?
I have not.
Okay, we do.
John Santos YouTube channel. Check it out.
Okay, that's what's up. So you're a content creator.
Yeah. So that's how we started the business. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to get early.
He stopped by and we
good.
told him to come back for you.
Wholesale
Okay, cool.
price and
Yeah, he does social media marketing and stuff like
That's
that.
cool.
So I figured,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
he'd love to talk to you.
That'd be perfect.
So we tell him to come back by noon.
Perfect. Are we pressing more shirts? Do we have more? Or are we out?
We have
That's all we
a few
have?
more. I just didn't.
Okay.
We only have a few left of these, so we were trying to be like
Oh, wow.
conservative.
Is
I
that
guess.
all we have
This
left?
is it. I've gotten. I
Call
did.
in just to
Well, I
not do
did the
any
rest of the
These
stack
ones?
this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And I made them all into shirts and
We
everything.
checked in there and stuff in these boxes.
Well, this is what you told me to cut yesterday.
Got it, got
so
it.
this is the last of what I cut yesterday.
Got
so
it. So we
I
could-
figured once we got these out of the way.
Anything, we just go with
Yeah,
the
I just didn't
whatever
want
they
it to be
need.
like wasting shirts.
That
and-
makes sense.
and,
That makes sense.
you know,
That's
stuff.
a good point.
So-
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I
We've only
figured,
got a few more
if we
hours,
could
so
do
that's
it, like,
a good
per
call.
size,
Yeah.
you know, if we need to.
Smart.
So,
Smart.
and if anybody wants to do anything like that, then we've
Doing
been
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you guys made the right call. Just making sure we don't get swamped here.
You know what? You can put us in charge of the whole thing. Don't
Yeah,
you worry.
you guys were in charge, so
We run this place.
we'll.
Yes.
I don't have a choice. I was here just to display everything. I take it back to the store, you know. Take it back to the...
Yeah, so that's what it's been. So the show's been really good. I mean, we literally get swamped like that, and then we continue. We have a little bit. Today's the last day, so I think yesterday was a pretty good indication of how things were the other days, and then today is a little bit slower, but still having fun. So we've me and Medine been playing with an idea about doing like a meetup for everybody in town, and being able to kind of put a workshop together. So think about like wine and sip. And you go there and they show you how to paint, and at the end you got your painting. Well, we're doing a t-shirt and sip. No alcohol. It's mainly an educational workshop. So we've done one before for past customers, and it worked out really nice because essentially the customers came that were already ordering and they had some issues with like their art. So then when we actually trained them on how to do it, they got better art, higher quality, more orders. Worked out for everybody. So we want to do the same for everybody that's just getting started here locally. We want to train them up on how to do it right so they can keep doing business with us.
ASD is a show that's for everyone who's coming out with their own business, their own brand, a website, a retail store, or they want to sell things. It's kind of just a marketplace open to trade and do business so you can actually expand and grow. So the best part about being a part of this show is that we've been able to make so many contacts, so many leads. It's been very beneficial for our business. But yesterday was incredible. It was really, I'd say the best word for it is edifying. It was just it opened us up to a whole new audience that never would have saw us before. And we were able to stand on stage and give a presentation about what we do at Streetcrafter and this whole brand and the mission and the meaning behind it. So how we're getting into, selling just products and getting people supplies to start printing from home, the education piece and our backstory and how we got here. All of these things kind of came together on stage to make the perfect storm so people could understand where we were coming from and how what we offer is really motivated by our personal past experiences. And if we were starting up just now and had an idea for a business and wanted to buy a couple things and get things going, you would come to a website, I would come to a website like Streetcrafter and buy some press art, buy some hoodies, and then test out my products and get things going. So by doing that yesterday, we were able to kind of have a cathartic Oprah moment, talk to the people about our past and everything that's gone on, and people soaked it in. They loved it. They came up and stopped us afterwards, asked a bunch of questions. They brought a bunch of traffic to our booth, and in so doing, brought a bunch of new business. So, I mean, this is a win-win for us, and we're super excited to take it to the next level.
We're actually working on a curriculum piece for colleges and high schools. It's been in beta for the last 8 months or so. So over the last year, we developed a curriculum, and then we actually started working on it in the classroom. So that's been really cool. So we did a high school last semester, and now we're doing colleges. So those are all in the works now. And the whole idea around that is that whether you want to do a 4-week course, 8-week, or 16-week for a full semester, we break it down into a process that teachers can replicate. So they could just pull up our modules in our educational platform. They can order in one of their heat presses with some sheet credits. The students upload designs. They learn about making. They learn about the cost of goods. They learn about selling. They learn about marketing, social media, e-commerce. All the tools they need to actually build their brand or a business is taught inside of the classroom. So it complements a Business 101 class where they're learning about theory, and now they're actually doing it hands-on. What we're also working in between that is the partnerships with the businesses in the community. So talking about Canes, we're talking about some of these franchises, like, hey, bring your business to these students. You're helping to educate. There's a whole incentive to hey, this is made locally. So now the students are also able to connect to those jobs. We had a car wash business, hey, I want to make 15 shirts. We gave it to one of the classes, and now they're paying the students, and the students are able to make money off of that too.
Your pitch? Okay, so what's interesting is it's so good every once in a while. I have to remind myself every once in a while to get out of the office and then actually follow up with people, because when I talk to people, I hear something totally different than when I'm online or when I'm emailing folks or on phone. It's just, as of now, what I discovered during my time here is that our pitch is good, but to make it land, we just needed to adjust a few things. There were some things that we were missing the mark. So to give you an example, there's a lot of retailers here who have stores and they sell merch. And they have products that they want to sell. And so for us, we're like, well, we don't have ready-made products you can just put in your store and sell it. But if you have some staff sitting around and they're out working and they're just weighing on your payroll, maybe you buy some press art, buy some hoodies, some jackets, and then send it into your store and have people come in and actually fold, press, and now you're making new products and merch inside of your store with your customers. People love that pitch. That's brand new, and that started here at the convention based off of the feedback we got. Another thing was there's a few professors and educators here who we ran into, and in talking to them, we have done this education piece where we were talking about Streetcrafter to students and going into schools, but pitching it is a little rough because it's so new, So for us, it got to the point where we spent a long-winded explanation about talking to the kids and working with Metro and how we're bringing it all together to stop crime and get kids to understand about printing, and it kind of bounces all over the place. So we learned to get to the point and say, hey, our program, Streetcrafter, comes with products and will come right into your classroom, and it'll elevate the experience for the kids and for the students. So that's some things we learned.
We're in 2 schools right now, and then we're rolling out into 3 campuses for this next semester. So we'll be in a total of 3 campuses and 8 classes. So 8 different classrooms, 3 campuses. And then we're in talks with book publishers that are going to be actually putting our curriculum into the college textbook. It'll include slides, so the teachers all over the country can pick up this textbook and actually learn the course and work the course with their students. And there's options for either me or Medina to go out, depending on budgets. We'll be able to go out there. But then we also have an option where there's a local crafter that comes into the classroom to set up the equipment, to actually do some of the hands-on training. So the teachers aren't left like, oh, I don't know how to do this, it's intimidating. We'll actually bring somebody into the classroom if we can't make it. Right now it's in Vegas, and we're pilot programming for the fall. It's going to be in a couple different states on the East Coast. For the first few, it's important for us to be hands-on and really see, in Vegas, we've experienced some things in different countries. In different states, we'll experience different things. So the first few classes we'll be on tour for, and it'll be something that we set up, and we kind of make sure that they know how to use their equipment. And then afterwards, we're expanding it to other crafters Like if there's like if somebody in Texas needs training or a college out there, we have people in Texas that are our current customers that we certified because of the work that they're doing, the quality of art that they're submitting, and their social media presence. So we'll reach out to them, verify them, make sure they're legit before they come into a class.
John and I have been like kicking around different ideas in the office every day about how we're going to attack the market and things that could work and all of that. But a show like this, it really solidified it. You know, there's the attention we had from the teachers that showed up and the educators. It just very positive reactions. And for us, it's like, okay, let's follow up on that. Let's see if we can take that energy and see where it goes, as opposed to just, kind of just, shooting in the wind, not having any real direction, So yeah, following that energy. For the educators, it's in-house, like we call it activations, but we have a setup with the heat press, all the shirts and the press art, start making things and say, oh wow, look at this, we made some shirts. But what goes before that is the crucial piece of what's and around it, the curriculum, showing up beforehand and pitching how the structure of all of the products and how we're going to sell it, like to the classroom. So that's where we ran into some holes. But now being here, it's like, hey, we put together a really clear pitch deck of what we offer, and then we have all the products ready to go. Now it's just show up and follow through. So we can hit people up now and go after it. Before it was such a new thing, but people were excited but a little confused and kind of tepid about it because they didn't know where we were coming from, really. So yeah, but now we're a lot more clear about, hey, this is how many weeks, this is what we're going to offer, this is the education you're going to get. Streetcrafter has a whole business education around it. So how to start your business, how to order products, how to do customer service, how to manage your staff and employees, accounting, all the things you learn in Business 101, you can learn through Streetcrafter, through real life work. So we've extracted all of those lessons, and now we're putting them into camera and putting them on documents to give to teachers.
Right here we have $45 makes you 100 t-shirts. So like if somebody's on the fence about starting, we created a price point that's like, hey, let me try it. Let me see if it's going to work for me. And I think what was really cool about this trade show is that there was a lot of people that were used to buying, 400 or 500 different sheets. So like 500 at a time in order to make one design. So they were like, wow, this is, every time I make a product, I minimum have to be able to make 500 before we came in, right? So they're doing transfers, but the transfers have a high minimum. So they got to commit to that inventory or they're losing money. So they saw our stuff and they're like, wow, you could do full color. I could start with $45 and I can actually test new designs and ideas. And if it does well, then I can either go to a print shop, I can go somewhere else, or just keep reordering from you guys because it was cost effective. So we're that starting point that allows people to grow.
Like I said, just chasing shiny objects has been the problem. So that, and like, oh, we can do this, and probably we could do this. And so our strong suit is in the education space. Like I said, I myself come from a background of teaching in a church, right? And so by doing that, by sitting there with these kids who are 15, 16 years old, who don't care about church at all, and they're uninterested parties sitting in front of me that I taught for year in and year out, that gave me my chops, kind of like to learn how to teach and actually how to make something that's rather mundane, make it exciting, make it fun. So in so doing, I said, you know what, let me try it out in a classroom setting at a school with something like t-shirts and hoodies and do the same thing I was doing before, but with this. So what I saw a really incredibly positive reaction. And with that, we can control the entire process, the entire experience. So we're focusing on that. So it's the business is narrowing down on that because we also have a professor who's working in the business, Kevin Rayford, who is helping us get into these different schools, who's helping us learn about the levers of power inside of an institution like a university or a community college, and is also bringing a level of credibility to what we do. So considering John's background in media, my background in just kind of ground level, teaching and dealing with people and sales, and then Kevin's background with being in the college, all those combined make our unique offering that's kind of like our competitive advantage. So we're sticking to that. In the meantime, we're fielding all these kind of inquiries because they're opportunities to bring in a couple 100,000 to the business and expand and grow. So the focus is slightly coming in. It took a couple years, but after some time, it'll be honed and ready to just shoot to the next level.
When it comes to drop shipping versus what we're doing, drop shipping is obviously you're handing control to somebody else to control the quality of your product. We're giving you the opportunity to control the process, the price points, as well as your margins. So depending on how you format art, how many you could fit, depending on which blanks you're choosing, like you have full control of the entire process, and you can get personalized. So you can actually personalize products for every customer, and you can make it on demand. So we're giving you the power to do drop shipping from home, and the prices and the margins are there for you to make that happen.
What I learned along the way is that branding is the most important thing than a product. The product can be great, but if it's not properly branded and the idea in the people's minds when they buy it is not the best, it doesn't matter. You're not going to sell products. And I've personally experienced it by having really quality backpacks sit in a garage for 1.5 years or 2 years that we paid money for and that we traveled to Mexico to make. And they were on par with the best of the best, and that experience taught me that it doesn't matter how good your stuff is. If people don't know that it's good, then sorry, you're not in business, And so we've changed our mindset to now focus on branding, focus on the message, and get that out there. So if anybody who's starting their own thing, I would advise you, make sure people know what you do is good, as well as doing what you do very well.
You can find us at streetcrafter.com, and when it comes to our YouTube channel, it's John X Santos, or just look up John Santos. I heard there's a couple out there though, so just make sure it's the X because I don't got a middle name.
It's our first trade show. Our first trade show ever. Yes. So this is our first trade show ever, and it's been an educational experience. I mean, we learned a lot.
The website streetcrafter.com. All the social profiles are Streetcrafter, and we're around. Hit us up. We're locally in Vegas, so if you contact us, let us know, hey, I'm a local customer. We're activating local pickup, which is going to be a cool new feature for us this year, where we're going to have everything available for you to come in. You check in, say, hey, I'm here. You come in, pick up your products. You can check out new products that we have and continue doing business together.
Yesterday was amazing. We had our first presentation to this whole show. This show is called ASD, and it's a marketplace that is, John? Here we go. All right.